Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 It's Honesty Hour episode 10,
10.
which is a monumental achievement.
Is it?
Not really, no. But 10 episodes is 10 more episodes than we had at the start of 2021. So it means something because this podcast was an idea in my head. I was like, there's conversations that need to be recorded. And it wasn't just in my head. It was in Samantha's head and in Edson's head.
Not the same conversations, though.
Oh, you still didn't want to have a podcast?
No. But the
do.
conversations that were in your head
Uh-huh.
were not the conversations in my head.
Okay.
Because remember the very first, you spoke about a deep dive
Okay.
into my social media.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm.
That is not something that ever passes through my head.
Okay. I just stole that concept from, I don't know if you are familiar with Sean Evans. He is the host.
The hot ones.
Yes.
Host.
And so he does, what is he called? A segment on his show called Explain That Gram, where we do a deep dive on, I guess, Instagrams, and you tell us a little bit more about this picture, you know? And then yours was like a lot of massage pictures.
Because, yes,
Yeah. That, for those of you that don't know, Edson does massage.
I do.
Awesome Massage, I believe it's
Therapist.
called. Awesome Therapist.
It's a massage therapist.
Well, that's not what it's called.
Mm.
It's really just me. It's an actor massage therapist.
Okay.
And the word awesome was just slotted in there to be kind of quirky.
Mm. But
Because-
you
Sorry, carry on.
go on.
But,
Mm?
hey,
Okay. So
yes.
I can see the advert as I say it's because it's like a black and yellow.
Yes.
And so if you're listening in Cape Town and your body needs to be touched.
That's one way to put it.
That's quite an ad.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying he's got good rates.
There are other people. Your body just needs to be touched.
Yeah.
I like to believe I hug muscles.
Okay.
Wow.
No, I like that concept.
Thanks, man.
Mm. I yesterday as I was leaving church, there was an auntie that said, I said, "Hi auntie, how you doing?" She said, "I'm good, and you? But I wish you could do massage so you could rub here by my leg." It's like,
Oh,
auntie,
my
what
goodness.
is going on here? And then I was like, "No, auntie, that's my brother. My brother does because my brother does
Oh.
physiotherapy."
Yes.
And then she was like, "I know, yeah." And then I thought this was a weird interaction.
The fact that she said, I know, yeah.
So maybe it was specifically aimed at you.
Exactly my
I'm
point.
grateful it wasn't specifically aimed at me.
Can I just say, there's a lot of, and I hear you on that, no, there's a
Yeah.
lot of like nonsense that happens with colored aunties with regards to, they say things, no, that in any other context, if it was any other social dynamic, that stuff would be out of pocket, man. I don't know if you've ever gone to like family reunions.
Not one.
Really?
No.
Okay.
I've been to quite a few.
Okay. But so at the family reunion, then it's always like your daddy's cousins and stuff like that. And then it's these aunties, man. Now, depending on what age your parents are, they're around that age. But then there's a generation above them. So aunties that were your daddy, them's aunties and uncles.
Understood.
And these aunties apparently saw you when you were a baby. So now you must remember them. Because you knew them as a baby.
They knew
held you once,
They knew
bruh.
you.
They held you once at the family function. You must now remember
And there
them.
are photos to prove it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
But this is you, not me. No.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking, this is my own personal testimony. I was like maybe 11, 12. I go to this function. Might have been a funeral. And this auntie says, "Hi, don't you remember me?" Obviously, I don't remember. So I'm just smiling and I'm like, "Oh, no, auntie, I don't remember you." And then she's like, "Come, give me a hug, give me a kiss." And then as I walk away, she's like, that one is my boyfriend. Ooh, look at my boyfriend. And now it's also, and not that this is probably of no fault of their own, but it's always that auntie with a mustache, man.
Yeah.
She gives that wet kisses
Oh, my
that
word.
make you feel so, like mosach afterwards, man. You feel
Oh, my
unclean.
goodness.
And
Yes, I nogal agree with you about the whole boyfriend thing. I
It's-
don't
it's
think.
weird, man.
Yeah, that is weird. If
What
the- if
auntie
it is-
called you a boyfriend?
No, man. I just mean like because it's not. Cause I've heard it many times. I mean, it's not just for you. No, not for me. I mean, I've heard that
coloured aunties
phrase. A
call
coloured
the-
auntie
the-
call.
Little boys.
Yeah. Oh, that's my boyfriend. Come here, you my boyfriend. And then they're teasing. And everybody's like laughing because that's a joke. But it's a bitchy.
But I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable.
Yes. And it's a bitchy. I don't know. It's just weird. I know that if one of my uncles said, come here, you my girlfriend.
Everybody would be like, whoa.
It's just weird. Okay, I know a
Maybe
man.
not. I've heard uncles.
Because we know the context of this one situation.
Explain?
No, we're not going to explain.
Okay.
But if I was younger,
Uh,
I think it's a little bit different now that we adults, and there's some kind of just understanding
Well,
of things that are appropriate and inappropriate. But
I
I think
understand.
as a
But this
child,
thing is
if
still
the
alive and
uncle
well.
told me as a child, come here, you my girlfriend. Ooh, I can't even say it
Creepy.
because it's just like, it
Creepy.
gives me the heebie-jeebies. Because it's just like, yeah, no, just don't do that.
that's wrong on multiple. Firstly, it's wrong because that's. Firstly, they not a child anymore. So they should know better. Right? Or they should not be even implying things of that
Yeah,
nature.
truly. As a grown-up woman now,
but by yes, sorry.
I
carry on.
can't imagine saying that to a child
Sis.
in any
Ugh,
context
it's
and
gross.
saying, "Oh,
It's
come
gross.
here, you my boyfriend." No, that's
It's
it's
gross.
weird. It's weird. It's weird.
But
Okay.
look, as someone who's been exposed to a number of generations previously, at the moment, society today, if someone, especially of sort of young adult age, in that bracket somewhere, we don't necessarily have to say millennial, but the
Okay.
word girlfriend or boyfriend means a very specific thing.
Okay.
Yeah. In previous generations, someone being girlfriend or boyfriend could have meant, because I had to conceptualize like where has this been in terms of relationships and understanding and stuff like that. And so when one person called another person girlfriend or boyfriend, or when they said that a pair were girlfriend and boyfriend, then it just meant that the relationship there was closer than with other friends. So then it's
Really?
not so dirty for kids.
Okay.
Because I remember being very young and my older sisters
This
had
is a safe
friends.
space it's in.
Thanks, man. My older sisters had friends who used to visit our house fairly often and regularly. So I kind of felt as if there were just more sisters around.
Okay.
And apparently a few of them called me cute because I may have been at the youngest age in my life. And two of them specifically, I remember, said, "Don't you want to be my boyfriend?" You know?
Okay.
And she wasn't exactly an auntie. I
Yeah,
think she could have
yeah.
been a teenager or early 20s then. And there could have been something like an 8 or 9 year gap between...
Is that the gap between you and your sisters?
My older sister is 9 years older than me.
Why are you surprised? We also 9 years apart.
Yeah, I just didn't think that Edson was the youngest on that level.
You and him are actually the same position
Sure.
in terms of relationship, sibling relationship,
Age gaps.
age gaps. Yes.
Would you say you can identify with some of the struggles that I face?
Some, yes. But I also interpret it very differently to how you do.
Can you give me an example of that?
Not offhand. Because I'm telling you about the girlfriend, boyfriend.
Oh,
at
yes,
the moment.
sorry.
Yeah.
Go on.
So I remember this, and then when these older, almost sisters said these things to me, it kind of felt ticklish. You know, like,
Okay. Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
Yes.
You know, and then there would be times where
Just
I would
to be
see
clear,
them.
They weren't tickling you.
No, they weren't.
Okay.
But it was kind of
That's
like
good.
it made me feel like not just the younger brother getting in the way.
Yeah.
And then when I saw them, I felt happy
Okay.
to see certain
Yes.
friends because I knew that there was a closer relationship there than with others.
Okay.
So in that regard, I don't think it's so mosachish.
No, I'm
Look,
not-
with the older aunties, I get that. And I recently, maybe not so recently, about 10 years ago, but it's a very...
In the context of your life, it's not that far away. For a
Also-
10-year-old, it would be, right
That's-
at the beginning.
And that's the thing. So when I was this 8-9-year-old being called somebody's boyfriend, who was maybe 10 years older than me, many years later, I was particularly good friends with a friend of mine. That's another different story, but I'll tell you about that maybe later on. Am I speaking too long?
No,
Anyway,
no
this-
such thing.
they have this family. I became really good friends with this guy, right? We were good friends, buddies, and we were part of a group of friends. But then I
Oh, you
visited
said
his house.
buddies. I thought you said buddies, and then you were going to say something.
No.
You were buddies.
Okay,
Yeah, we still are buddies.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I spoke to him this morning.
Okay.
sure. And he's about 10 years older than you.
No. We are
Lovely.
very similarly
Okay.
aged.
Okay.
He has an older sister who has a husband.
Yes.
Okay. And they also have cousins because they're part of a bigger family. Fair enough. And one of their cousins had a daughter who was probably 3 years old when I met her.
Okay.
And I was invited to lunch one day, spend some time with the family. And then for some reason, this little girl asked a question. And then I think she was playing with something. I don't even remember what the exact situation was, but she was doing something that the 3-year-old would be doing.
Yeah.
And I answered, and she laughed as if I had tickled her.
Okay.
And I left it there. And then later on, she was doing something else and came to show me what she was doing. And in terms of, looking at it from a 3-year-old perspective, it was actually quite impressive. So I congratulated her on what she was doing. And then she started speaking to me more. And then she brought what she was doing close to where I was. And then when I was somewhere else, she called me to come and see as well. And then at the next family gathering, I happened to be there as well as this little girl and her family. And then they decided, let's do the catwalk, Musenberg and James.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to
Lovely.
do a modeling show there in the middle of the lounge.
Again, there are lots of references in your head that are just not the same as the one. So.
Yeah.
But yes, there are similarities in our sibling experience. But anyway, at some point she got tired of walking and she wanted Uncle Edson to pick her up.
Okay.
And so I did. And as we walked, I showed her things, and there were pictures of whales on the one wall, and we were looking at the ocean and the rocks, and we saw starfish and stuff. And then when we came back to the house afterward, it's difficult to keep track. So my buddy is Keith, right?
Okay.
Okay. And his brother-in-law, which happens to be his sister's husband.
Yes.
Yeah. He picked up this little girl who was 3-year-old and said, I heard somewhere that you have a new boyfriend
Okay.
and it's not me anymore.
Oh. Okay.
So he was sort of the connection that she had before.
Okay.
And then obviously the new boyfriend that they were referring to.
Yes.
Was
Was
Uncle
Levine.
Edson.
I understand. Look, I'm not saying
So
that.
there, I also understand
there's
because I
innocence.
would never have said, are you my girlfriend?
Yeah, of course. But there's an innocence attached to that idea of
Yes.
like, oh, shame, this little child wants to be around this person. But, so I'm not saying that my aunties aren't pedos, no? As far as I know.
Okay, yes.
Yes, my aunties are not pedos.
But you're going somewhere. Keep
It's
going.
just weird. Let's not do that anymore. Maybe.
Can we also
look,
just
one day-
clarify again? It is not close aunties. It is not close
not
in any
the aunties
proximity.
that
Extended
not
family.
We are
aunties
just
I'm
saying
familiar with. Like
in-
aunties that is...
Yes, the very far distant family aunties. This is just for in case
Yeah.
anybody
A
wonders.
lawsuit.
I think maybe also for future reference, no aunties. So even the close ones shouldn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't only have to be
nobody
the
wonder.
let's
Let's
not-
not
yeah.
wonder.
Yeah. And let's not do that stuff anymore. I think
Okay.
let's move past where colored aunties say, "Ooh, that's my boyfriend."
Oh, you're talking about to the aunties now. You're
To
telling
everybody. Let's stop telling children.
Okay,
you my
so
boyfriend,
this
you
is
my
a
girlfriend.
public service request
I
announcement.
don't know where this came from. I think it was buried somewhere deep inside of me. Just
Probably.
a memory that
Yeah.
was triggered.
Yeah.
Because that's not how I intended to start episode 10.
Lovely.
But you've heard about this, and so I don't know if it's a cross-cultural issue. I guess pedos are a cross-cultural issue.
Oh my word.
Sorry, but like I don't know about the
Yeah.
specific thing. I just
Yes.
know in the colored community.
I would say
that's
I
it.
do think that it is an older generation thing. I
Yeah,
doubt.
I think it's phased out.
Yes,
It's
I
being
doubt
phased
that
Yeah.
modernized.
Modern old aunties.
Yes, would
Would be
continue
using
with
those
such
terms.
out.
a.
You're right.
Yeah.
Let
So one day
me-
when you're an old auntie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to do. So the one thing I didn't expect was to be talking about pedos, but what I wanted to do was to introduce you.
Oh
And
right.
I know
Again?
that's
Really?
No connection.
No, because
Are we being introduced in a different way that we were in?
I'm just saying, welcome back, Samantha, and it's
Oh, thank
you
because
very
it's been a
much.
while since we heard your voice on the podcast. To be
Wow.
fair, it's been a while since you heard anyone's voice on the podcast. Just because you know what, nah? A man is busy, but also a girl is busy.
Sure.
Like you are the girl.
Oh, is this
that
me?
is busy.
Okay.
So, and we need the two of us at the very least.
Indeed.
It's an also.
No, it's okay. I understand where I'm
Sorry, man.
No.
I feel like every time I
feel
make
no
you
pity.
feel like excluded, but I don't want to because
It's
you are
okay.
a fundamental. You are the. You know when Jesus told Peter, no?
Upon this rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
upon this rock I will. But
And
I don't know if
And
he
then
was
Peter
talking
went and
about-
embarrassed himself.
Yeah, true.
But it's okay.
But as long as you don't deny me,
No. I'm
I
valid.
don't like this analogy anymore. It seems
As a
very
awesome
blasphemous.
massage
Yes.
therapist.
I apologize, Jesus, and
So maybe to the people who are listening, if they do a podcast excluding me, we could possibly arrange a massage appointment. Hug your
okay.
muscles and stuff like that.
By the way, WhatsApp
Yeah.
has a new feature where you can post voice notes on your.
I was gonna say I saw that feature because I just checked statuses and I saw a mic on my right hand side
Yeah.
of the screen, and I was very confused, and I realized, oh, you can now make voice memo statuses.
Yeah.
I have not checked out the feature, of course not.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone else use the feature
I
either.
did. I was listening to my cousin do like a fake news report, and it
Oh.
was very entertaining.
Oh,
But he's got like in his family history, so he's Joshua. So his
Lovely.
sisters have done like
Indeed.
hilarious fake
Indeed.
news reports in the past.
indeed.
Like
Okay.
top tier stuff. But I was just thinking like I heard someone say now everybody's gonna become a podcaster.
Oh,
And I thought that's cool. Like,
What's the time limit
but it's
on
like
it, though?
30 seconds, which is amazing because who's trying to hear an hour-long podcast, you know?
people who listen to this podcast.
Exactly. I was being ironic.
Oh, okay.
But I thought like 30 second, like just being able to hear what people say, that's cool.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
Well, what I think about all the other free-to-use platforms out there and the information that people have shared.
Yes.
And some of the things, a lot of the things are not necessarily worth listening to.
You don't
And
think
also-
everyone should be given a mic? in the
No.
world?
They could,
Mm.
but I think they need to have, what's the word, an informed audience. So people who are listening to episode number 10,
Yeah.
no doubt would have at least heard a couple of
few of
episodes
the- yes.
before.
Yeah.
So they know what the happy hour was all about.
Okay.
Sorry, honesty hour, right?
Oh yes,
It's,
honestly.
happy
Well,
hour
Did
too.
you say
happy
happy
hour
earlier?
is a throwback.
Whenever
to,
you say honesty, I always just remember happy.
Well, I'm
So-
happier after the hour.
Cool.
And,
Okay.
And I assume my listeners are too. Sometimes I listen back to these episodes just for me, man. And I know that sounds so like narcissistic, no?
I
No,
will
it's
say that they do make me laugh.
It's liquor, man.
It is actually, if I do my best to forget that I was part of the conversation, it is quite entertaining conversation.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you know what? Sometimes I listen.
We're also
and
not
then-
just listening for views and listens.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely haven't liked all of my videos. But I listen back, no, then I think things because the conversations they stimulate parts of your
Yeah.
brain, and sometimes this quiet thing happens where I think something, and then I hear myself say it on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
And then I'm like, yo, that's like consistency, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm actually being honest to myself. It could also be an indicator of lack of growth.
No,
Oh, okay.
because you could then also term it as being consistent in your personality.
Yeah.
not phasing, not changing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing too.
But when people say like oh, I'm always gonna be the same person, that I don't think that's something to reach out to, because I'm imperfect at the moment, no? Which means I need to be better. As a rule of thumb, I need to be better.
You need to develop and improve.
Yeah.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
But maybe give it about 5 years.
Okay.
And if in 2028
Yeah.
you would make the same comment that you would have made,
Then maybe you can
then
question
possibly
whether you
reconsider.
grew
Okay.
or not.
Yeah.
No, but I think I do grow, because when I look back on things that I have said in the past, I cringe, man. I cringe, and I make sounds when I cringe. So I don't know if anybody else does this.
No, but you can leave it in the comment section underneath.
Yeah. Tell us what you do when you cringe at yourself. But
I do like a big sigh. I just do this. So like,
okay. I've heard you do that before.
yes.
As have I, yeah.
Yes.
When I do it, I go like I either make like I do like I'm clearing something.
Oh, is it?
It's like trying to shift the memory, but I do like I make sounds
Okay.
like that.
That
And
sounds
then-
to me like a prop getting ready to scrum.
Nice. And then I engage with myself. That was a little rugby joke there.
Yeah.
Because they say engage when the people are about to scrum.
Not anymore.
No.
Oh, they say buy and set.
set.
Yeah.
And use it.
Yeah, they do say use it. And then I not swear at myself. I berate myself.
Chastise.
I go like for sin. Like, yo, you dumb.
I think I do a
but
similar
I don't think
thing.
it's healthy. I think I need to be kind to my old self, because my old self was doing what he could with the stuff he had.
Exactly.
Do you?
And-
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
sorry to I'll let you speak now, but
He will let you interrupt him in a moment.
but like I need to be gracious with myself, because that person doesn't have the resources that this person has. And so, yes, I was being for sin, and yes, I probably should have held my tongue, or as I say in my head, keep your beak.
Yes.
But
Keep it in your head.
yeah, but it happened, and it is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
And there's no point chastising myself now.
No.
Do you,
about it.
okay, is that your reaction every time?
I don't go through that whole.
'Cause
Oh yes,
my
yes, yes,
thing-
most of the time.
Because sometimes I would be like, oh, stupid. Like, you know, it's
Yeah.
like stupid. But then there are other times where it's so embarrassing. I feel so embarrassed that I just make sound
Nice.
to like almost like distract my thought from happening.
Like-
So I will be like listening, and I will be like, like just start singing and
That's
like
funny.
just change
Is it like
something
when-
because
like-
it's like it's too sensitive to touch at the moment.
Like when you want someone to stop talking,
Yes,
like when a
it's like,
child is
yes.
telling you secrets to the elevator,
Exactly
like,
that.
"Hey," like trying to like
Exactly that. So I'll start singing, or just like make a random ad-lib or something, just so that we can move past that and be like, okay, we done. Let's go
The
on.
mind is a fantastic place, no?
Yeah,
It's
I
weird.
don't know.
It's-
Yeah, because I don't do any of that.
what do you not cringe at yourself?
This is the sound of me thinking. I don't think I do.
Okay.
I don't think I make any sounds. There were times, I think, when, and not in recorded conversation,
Yeah.
where I play back conversations I had with people in real life, and very often it's more about what I didn't say than what I said.
Okay.
Where I feel a sense of regret. Where, okay, I should have said that, but I didn't, and I just said, "Thank you, have a nice day."
Yeah.
And I'm referencing talking to a cute girl.
Now I was gonna say.
Because there was a day,
Yeah.
and there was a girl, and I thought she was really cute. And then she said something about she needs to get back to work because she's finishing at 3. And I
Okay.
said something like, "Have a nice day." But then when I thought about it, an hour later, I should have, or at least I believed I should have said, and this was then.
Yeah.
Then I believed I should have said, "So then what are you doing after 3?" You know?
But look, now you're here with Samantha.
And yeah,
You see how the Lord works, no?
yes.
So it all worked out.
Well, look, I think that would have worked out anyway.
Okay.
But that's probably a different
Was it
conversation.
Samantha? It wasn't.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
it wasn't
no.
Samantha, no.
Because your work don't finish at 3.
The work doesn't finish at 3.
Yes. My work is very like this morning I overheard a conversation Edson was having, which was a little bit more professional. And he said that he has limited availability, but what did you say is about flexibility? You have much flexibility, but limited availability.
Sure.
And that I thought was brilliant because that perfectly describes my situation as well. So, yeah, the flexible part, we can kind of, and not always, I think I'm a little bit less flexible than what he is.
'Cause I'm a
But I
massage
do-
therapist.
Yeah, you stretch
Yep.
more.
Yeah,
Hug
lovely.
muscles.
Yeah.
Lovely. But,
But in
just, yeah,
reality-
I don't, not a lot of my day has set times. There's a certain part of my day that does have set times, but then a lot of my day does not have a set time. So yes, I don't get off at 3, just to answer that question. And then secondly, I don't think in our relationship we've had conversations where there's much to regret. I don't think.
No, I think by the time our relationship started, I had moved on or reached an understanding of myself that what's necessary, like you said. The things I said was the best I could come up with at that time. Even if I was berating myself an hour later, it's not because I never had those words. It's because I didn't have that presence of mind or that smoothness or, you know, sort of...
Suave, confidence.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
That kind of charisma to just, you know...
Yeah, also when we started talking, there was very little of the try to be cool, try to be
Oh, no,
smooth
but this
kind of
wasn't
thing.
that time.
Did you
When
try?
No.
Oh.
And that's the thing.
No, I'm talking about when we started our relationship. I know you're saying it's not that time. I'm just saying
Oh,
when
yeah.
we started talking.
At the risk of
Like-
people believing I have no smoothness in me and everything else.
Yes, sorry. I'm sure he
that's-
does. It's just no, we don't do that.
So
Not
real,
anymore. I laugh when he does stuff like that because to me it's
real
like
smoothness is when you're doing it and they don't even know you have it.
Sure.
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 Anyway.
Take that one home.
No, I suppose he does have that, but I know it. I don't
But she
always
thinks
point
it's
it out, but I
unnecessary
think
now.
it's unnecessary. That's why it's just like so when he does stuff like that, I'm just like okay.
Nice.
Because it's like
Yeah.
It makes
we
someone
didn't
not
start
wanna
because the
try
thing
now.
is no,
No.
but
I know why I try.
Okay.
So I'm not going to stop trying.
No, that's good.
And then she calls me cute and then I feel a bit irritated.
Because you
not
don't like being
irritated.
called cute.
I don't mind being called cute.
It's just that our relationship didn't start with pickup lines and all
No.
this.
Started with how to deal with anger. Bruh.
It started out to yes,
Yeah.
it started
Yeah.
very much with how to deal with anger, how to work through your
Can I explain that one? Because the people's not going to know. No, I'm not going to get too deep into it.
sure.
I didn't,
Because it
okay.
can go deep.
But then don't let us speak.
Yeah.
'Cause I
I'm
do
just going to
think-
tell you my understanding of it. Because
Sure.
you guys have
Okay,
you
but
guys
if
know
we-
what was happening.
If we need to correct you in certain areas, then we will have to speak.
and I will
Because
not
your
say
interpretation of it may not be wrong, but I mean, we needed
Yeah.
to be as accurate as people. I mean,
as possible.
as possible for the people.
No, I agree. And I wouldn't also, there's people know that they tell you stuff about your life now. And you correct them. They don't listen to it, bruh. You're like, nah, but I was there,
yes,
man.
yes.
Yes.
No, we know.
And they also tell you what you were
Yes.
thinking and how you
Yes.
felt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my year's version of events that, yo,
That never
it's
happened.
like me
but
and you are
yes.
hearing this for the first time,
Yes.
But so Samantha was angry, and then she posted on WhatsApp, how do you deal with like rage or like anger? And then she got 2 responses, one good one and one that so one good one from a close aunt, and another one was from Edson. And so Edson, he
Shame
came
he
into her
didn't have the
life
good
as a therapist in the beginning, or just responding to these existential questions.
Yeah, I don't know if you can say therapist.
Yeah, no,
There
he
may be a
was not
legal
my
ramification.
I will.
I wasn't
will
aiming
say
to.
yes.
It was just you have the struggle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I may have a way to, what do you call it?
Yeah, it wasn't
Oplossing.
in a
Oplossing,
therapeutic
yeah.
way at all. It
Yeah.
was there was no intention to let's deal with it. Let's talk through it. It was just would you like can I give you some what I've learned? It was basically all from his perspective of how he's dealt with things.
Beautiful, no?
Yeah. So there was no pickup.
So yes, there was
Also,
no,
at that point, there was no intention of a pickup line. 4 months.
Yeah. And it's just naturally. And so, like, to the listeners who were looking for tips, There's nothing
Okay.
for you, but
Tips on
to
pickup
be
lines.
fair,
like,
if you're looking for tips on how to get girls from this podcast, then that probably is the reason why you don't have any girls at the moment.
Yes, based on the histories of what has been shared here.
Yeah,
but
this
we've
is-
offered some very sound relationship advice today already.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what my takeaway as a man who is in a budding relationship, although I don't want to give too much away because I want to keep
Budding
my
with the
private
ING,
life.
eh?
Yeah, we're buddies. I want to keep my private life private, but what I'm realizing is that smoothness is not as important as presence.
Indeed, I agree with that.
Like
be
gifts.
there. You don't have to be cool, but being there is important.
Yes. And also being genuine.
That's it. I would prefer genuine above be there because you can be there and your existence would irritate me.
Yeah.
I'm making an example
I hear what you're saying.
because in that moment, in that frame of mind, you being there is not being helpful to me
Yeah.
dealing with this thing.
Yeah.
So if you are coming there with a genuine intention to let's work through this, whatever, whether that in that moment requires you to just be silent but present, it's a very different thing to just being there.
Yeah.
Because you can be there and you can make a whole lot of noise and it will not be helpful to me.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
So that first conversation was, I said what I needed to say in as succinct a manner as possible. And then 2 hours later, the conversation ended. So yeah.
And you weren't thinking, 5 to 7 years down the line, we're going to be talking about this on a podcast.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. He
I
prayed
said-
that Jesus made me ugly.
Would.
What?
Well, yeah.
What if Jesus listened? What if he got into like a car accident and like the half of her face was disfigured? And I'm not saying that disfigured people are ugly per se.
So let's be clear. I didn't ask Jesus to do anything to her
Okay.
negatively. I didn't ask him to hurt her in any way.
Okay.
But I realized at some point, because after that conversation there was another. It could have been a couple of days later, because the next day we spoke briefly, and there were more conversations dealing with the same topic. Because having one conversation on one difficult issue doesn't necessarily provide any form of resolve
Yeah.
effectively. And I was more focused on offering assistance to the individual who sought some form of support. And so the conversation was ongoing, and there were, what do we call it? I don't want to say sessions, because then it does sound like therapy. But there were a few conversations.
Yeah.
Coffee
of
dates.
varied length. Yes.
Okay.
A lot of them with coffee, which helped, because kind of figure that the conversation goes south. At least there's coffee.
Nice.
And it became progressive, and so it became clear that there was positive change going on.
Nice.
And once those things started settling, I learned to know the person I was talking to more than the issue the person was going through, or even the person going through this issue, the person aside from all of the other stuff. And she started becoming attractive. At that point, I had committed to me and Jesus.
Celibacy.
No. Me and Jesus. Stay focused. And where he would call me.
Okay.
And I felt I was doing something useful, that if I felt Jesus would be well pleased with the support I was offering as a good friend.
Yeah.
And then I found myself feeling things, and I wasn't exactly sure that was entirely from Jesus, because
That's funny.
when we think doing things for Jesus, we do things celibacy.
But that's funny because at that time I thought you were being a fisher for men, but it wasn't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
It
was, very, very
Yeah.
focused on let's focus and keep focus
On
on what's
Jesus.
best for
Yeah.
this person's understanding and relationship with Jesus.
Okay.
Because even the first conversation was focused on kind of like, what do you think God wants for you through this whole experience?
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where I noticed something, but but the other 90% was really focused on, of the conversation, of the interaction, or at least the intensity of thought was focused on help the friend. And then that percentage started changing to where help the friend who is quite nice, help the friend who is cute, and then help the friend who is pretty, and then help the friend who is attractive. And I'm thinking about this friend when it's not necessarily a progressive thought in relation to the said issue. And then I got on my knees and I said, Jesus, in order for me to be effective in what you've called me to do,
Sure.
please make this person less attractive.
Yeah.
And so he said no.
Yeah.
And that's more or less when there was the slow growing yes.
Imagine, how they say Jesus doesn't always say yes or no to your prayer. Sometimes he says wait. Imagine he's doing so in the moment.
Don't
look,
say that.
Look,
Oh my word.
to be fair, if Jesus says so, but I don't know Jesus to change his mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how that happened.
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah, thanks, man.
It's very, very wholesome.
Yeah.
And very, I don't know if accidental is the word, but it seemed like things just happened that way. There's nothing
Yep.
of
Unplanned by how I think the world would measure it. In respect of there was no pickup line.
Yeah.
There was no strategy or plan. But I don't believe that Jesus was surprised by any of these events.
Okay. Can I ask, no, this is maybe a little bit random, but did you guys ever think this, no, like Edson is a good name for a partner? Because you know how like we have different perceptions of names, man. And I know it's not that big of a deal. It's so how someone's character is more important than the sound of their name. But they are like I'm not trying
You want to
to
make an example of
I'm
maybe
just saying, I'm not trying to go out with a Gertrude.
I've never
You know what I
thought-
mean?
Oh, okay.
Like that would be a stumbling block, something in the way of
Yes.
progress.
Yes. No, I hear what you're
So
saying.
is there any names that is like that was off limits for you? So like, your Lord, please don't send me a Beatrice.
Well, look, to be
or
fair, I know
something.
one other Edson, and I was never pursuing.
Okay.
I
Nice.
know that I didn't really think about names. I was very concerned about looks.
Okay.
This is me growing up.
What
so
was
I
that
think
ideal?
it's actually very close to when I remember myself drawing how I could have seen a boyfriend or significant other.
Yeah.
I always drew a beard on the person. Always, but it was like a specific style, a specific style.
Okay.
So it would be this like, I like a goatee, but I like the, coming around here. So it just looked very nice.
Kind of like the
So,
Jesus style beard.
Okay.
Definitely.
White Jesus.
We don't, because
that's
we
in the
don't know how
movies.
Jesus looked. We don't know how Jesus' beard is.
Yes,
We don't know.
but all the pictures of him.
But all the white pictures of him.
How did have you ever thought about how we don't know how he looked, but we decided one day that this white bra that's the Jesus that we're going with?
Well,
all I'm going to say is that westernized,
Yeah.
Western,
also the people who were drawing pictures of Jesus and then made them public
yes.
were of a
the-
certain demographic,
Yeah,
and
for
there
sure.
could have been other people drawing pictures of what they
Indeed.
thought Jesus
Yes.
was. But I also think that a lot of other communities and societies hold a lesser significance on the outward appearance. So there are certain cultures that have more text than picture, and so they describe characteristics of people more than they describe what they looked like or even have pictures of it. So in
Like
Europe,
girls on Wattpad.
Okay. So
In
I know, I know, I've heard a few people say that Jesus wasn't necessarily attractive because of Isaiah, where he
He
says
has
he wasn't.
no form, no
That's it,
comeliness.
yes. And
that
so
we should.
people, I'm not going to say what I think that verse means, and I'm not going to assume that anybody's wrong or right.
Yeah.
But I have been told from, the pulpit that it could mean that he was not very outwardly attractive.
It just shows,
You know,
don't judge a book by
so-
its cover. Because if Jesus, wasn't like a 10 in terms of like, I'm not saying he wasn't, he was amazing, But like, if the bride didn't necessarily look like Charles Leclerc,
Oh, you think he's pretty?
Charles Leclerc is pretty.
Oh, wow.
You don't think Charles Leclerc is pretty?
I don't think he's not, but I mean, he wouldn't be my
Is he the one
reference.
with the blue eyes-ish?
He looks like the
Okay.
typical white
Very
boy.
Very fine
Otherwise-
features. Fine like features.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got.
He always looks like he shaved
No, you
yesterday.
know what? I'm thinking of Lando
semi-androgynous
Norris.
face.
I'm seeing Lando
Lando's
Norris.
the baby face.
Yes, that's who I'm seeing.
Charles is like, he's got this androgynous, like, he would look pretty as a girl as well.
I would know if I see a picture, then I would know
Yeah.
that's
I
Charles.
don't think.
To me,
Yeah, I
Shaw,
can't picture
like,
Charles'
Carlos
Carlos
face.
looks
always-
more manly
yeah. Okay, fine. Because he's Spanish.
and chiseled
Carlos.
features.
He looks
Yeah.
steadier also.
To me, Charles Leclerc always looks like he shaved yesterday or the day before. So for you saying he could be
Well
equally attractive as a girl. Not, no, because there's some stubble there.
Anyway, I
like
suppose...
I said, the colored
Also, it's
aunties,
interesting that
You-
you chose an F1 driver
Yeah.
instead of a Hugo Boss model.
I don't know any Hugo Boss models.
I know, but there was that guy. You know,
But what is your point here?
Yeah,
you were
sorry.
saying that
I'm
there's hope
saying
for...
sorry that like don't be judging books by the covers because
or even by their titles.
because the
the
thing is
Gertrudes
like
out there.
like maybe the girls were like you and I, not Jesus. I'm not saying he was showing interest, but maybe the girls were saying that. You know what I mean? But the bro is like the creator of the universe.
Yes.
It's
so
like
he
you're-
didn't need to be looked at in such a way.
I think the verse
It's not
also
the point I'm
maybe
making.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
adds to the idea that he didn't put a lot of effort into
He's like me.
making himself appear attractive.
Uh,
On that level, sort of on a superficial level.
yeah.
Because I don't think he was. I don't think he was aiming to be a supermodel
Yeah.
of the time. I also think he was particularly noticeable
Of
because
course,
he stood
yes.
out.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and
yeah.
he was appealing both in appearance and manner because
And
people
presence.
noticed him.
Yes. And when we say appearance, it's not necessarily how you look, but more like how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He had posture like he was going to graduate.
Yeah.
I think
And a
you
form of
can see
charisma.
someone, you can see when someone is moving with purpose.
Yeah.
You can see when someone wakes up and gets stuff done
Yeah.
and they know what they are about, they know what they're doing. It looks different. You notice someone
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, regardless of the way their face looks. You
Yeah.
just see the way that they move.
I hear you.
So I think it could have been a situation like that. But coming back to your name story, no, I don't think I ever would have imagined dating an Edson. And coming back to how I pictured things, it was very visual. So it was never via text. It was no textual description.
I'm not
of
even really
any
talking
sort.
about text. I'm talking
No,
about
but
phonetics.
I'm talking, yes, phonetics, yes.
Like with the
I
summer
know that
sound.
I wouldn't necessarily be happy with a...
What about those colored people that join the names?
with a John hyphen something.
John Mark.
No, that's you. That's not you. That's
do
the
you
other
mean?
bruh. Because your second name is Mark. I just
Oh,
but
no,
we
no,
know a
but
John
John
Mark.
Mark, yeah.
No, but
Or like one of those.
yeah, I don't think it would even enter my mind to date someone.
Isaiah.
Yes, like that.
Yeah.
I don't think would even feature
Yeah.
as like. Imagine somebody comes and say, one day you're going to date an Isaiah. My first reaction would be like, Isaiah? Like, why Isaiah? So, yeah.
I hear you. I will say there was, when I was a kid, I wasn't thinking in terms of potential partners. My life was basically cricket and soccer at the time. That was the only things that I cared about. And like to some extent my family. But like the name, so CSA, which is Cricket South Africa, the director of the board of Cricket South Africa, he had a name that I loved saying, and that's Krish Makadush.
Nice.
Now, that to me, now obviously I don't want to date someone named Krish Makadush, no? Because it's very specific, and that's, by the way, his name is Krish and his surname is Makadush.
I like the name Krish, though. I think Krish is a cool name.
It's
But
very Indian.
I will say, now that you say that surname was Makadush, I was concerned about the surname.
Okay.
Because as a female
Yeah.
in today's society,
2023, Samantha,
you know,
you
no,
can keep your name.
sorry, in previous society when I was younger,
Yeah.
it was almost a given that the female takes whoever she marries,
Yeah.
the surname. And so I was concerned about that because I was concerned about what is the surname going to be. I don't want a dom surname.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you for the life of me to give an example of a surname that you don't want, I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
when
it's
I
rather
hear
don't,
it.
because someone listening is
Yes,
gonna have that
exactly.
surname.
If I
I'm
hear
very
it, I'll
sure
be
there's
able
someone
to
listening who
say.
could know Gertrude, but carry on.
But
Tell her I'm not
if you
looking,
tell
huh?
if you tell me a
I don't
surname,
think she is
I could
either.
tell you. If you give me a surname, I could tell you whether I approve or not.
Okay. And Hector, do you?
Yeah, that's
hypothetically,
fine.
Would you change?
but
Are you gonna change?
We've spoken about it. He has told me that he's not opposed or
Fast.
fussed
Yeah.
about whether
So she's spoken about it.
I've spoken about
Yeah.
it because it has same like this thing. I was very concerned about the surname thing.
Okay.
So it has come to my adult life, and I realized that it's not so much the type of surname.
Yeah.
It's more like me, the act of me putting my surname aside
Sure.
to take on someone else.
Sure.
Sacrificing identity.
That kind of
Yeah.
So to me, it's become an identity thing. So I'm still kind of figuring it out. But we've spoken about it.
Okay.
I have asked him
Okay.
if he would be upset
Okay,
or
yeah.
opposed if I didn't take his surname.
Can I ask? Are you keeping Julius regardless?
I have told him that at that
double
present
barrel.
time, yes. So at that present time, I told him I'd be okay with the hyphenated surname.
Okay.
And
Julius Hector's a long, but
It
it,
is
sounds
very-
but
it sounds
cool.
cool-ish.
I don't dislike it.
I kind of felt like when I said it sounds cool, I'm enforcing that it sounds cool. Anyway, the point is, I'm
Well, look, if it's what you choose to do. And that's it.
yes, but I mean, look. So as you can see,
Hmm.
I don't have a clear answer because I still play around with the idea in my head. But it has been a thing, and that's why I spoke to him about it because of all the traditions and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's important to her.
To me, yes. To him,
I think names are important. I don't think it's.
Look, I
don't
agree
think
that
it's
names are
unimportant.
important, but I mean, to me, it's not even. I don't know if I would have cared, given basically how I told you how the first conversation started.
Yeah.
I don't know if me offering support and that growing into what it has become would have been dependent on what their first name was.
Yeah, no,
Or
I don't
even a
think you
surname.
should choose partners based on that, but I think
Yeah.
you can disqualify or you can at least have an idea.
Man,
Samantha wanted to, for the longest time, I'm sure you know this, wanted to name her first child, which, if it was a boy, that would be called Yowen, no? With an I. Yowen with I-O-A-N, something like that.
yes.
That is a junk name.
Listen, I didn't say I was going to name my first child this. Listen, me, the way that I was as a child, I'm a very, as a person, I'm not going to say as a child, because I was in my early adult years.
Yeah.
But as a person, I was very much like, I would romanticize things. So at that point, you also have to understand that there were certain circumstances that would affect what I would choose in terms of offspring. So all I'm saying is that
What do you
at
say?
that time, in that frame of circumstance,
Okay.
that was an option that I looked at.
Okay.
That I thought, okay, this could work.
But now
Clearly
you-
not
now
for
you see
everyone
the
else.
light.
No, not that I see the light. I still think it's a lovely surname. It's just that I think now I will not do
lovely
that.
first name or surname.
I mean, first name, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas of what you would want to call a child? Fernando, maybe?
No, maybe not Fernando.
Okay.
Definitely V10.
Nice.
No.
There was something in the air that night. The stars so bright. Fernando. That's a ABBA song.
It is an
Lovely.
ABBA song. Yes.
And it's also
Lovely.
customary that I sing on this podcast.
Is it?
Yes.
I've looked back and I sing a lot.
You
Oh,
do.
wow.
You
I
do.
But
You
music
remember,
sort of like comes into my
You
I know it's
remember-
always happening. I just didn't realize it was always.
you
on the
remember when you
recording.
sang Bread of Heaven for us?
I think I do. Yes.
Yes. So,
That's
I,
really
yeah.
cute.
I love, if you have some time, guys, go on YouTube and just watch the Welsh rugby fans sing Bread of Heaven. I really like it. It's gevaarlijk. But after you're done watching the Welsh rugby fans sing Bread of Heaven, then come back to this podcast so you can hear what Edson has to say about baby names.
Oh, are we still? I'm not particularly drawn to any specific name. I do think that names and surnames should match.
Yeah.
So I prefer, if you have a English-ish kind of surname, that the first name should.
So you're not looking for Carlos Smith.
Well, no. No. Because Carlos is a version of Charles.
Yeah, okay.
Even, so I was going to say even Charles.
Yeah.
But
It's the
then
French
Charles
version of-
it's spelled exactly the same way.
Yeah.
I
Because the French want to be fancy.
don't think they want to be. I think they just happen to speak that way.
Yeah. Sorry
Because-
to my French listeners. We
because
love you.
Nice. Lovely.
Or as they say, je t'aime.
Nice.
That's French
Beautiful.
for I love you.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, it's all about multiculturalism here.
Wow.
You know? But yeah, okay, so no, there's no, because like, I'm also glad that your surname is Hector and not something difficult to pronounce.
Oh, is it? Are you happy for you or are you happy for?
Because I have to like introduce people sometimes,
Oh,
and
okay.
like, I'm not really like. I also wouldn't want that upon you, Samantha.
Wow.
I think Samantha
Because I
Julius
don't
is a
think-
perfectly acceptable name.
I do
and
think that. I
if it
do
was a
like the sound
difficult
of that.
surname, there would be too many syllables, there would be too much going on.
I think
don't-
it's also lovely for you because that's your own surname.
Yeah, I like
So-
Julius.
And we are
Julius
very
is cool.
particular about how someone pronounces our surname.
Because Mr. Holland, which was the principal at my school, used to say Julius.
Yeah, no.
But
I
I've
don't
heard
like
quite
that.
a few people.
Yeah.
I'm not a Julius.
And not in referring to you, even your extended family.
No,
Yeah.
no. All of us
Yeah.
feel very strongly.
Yeah. And we will
about-
correct the person if they say Julius.
But also because there is a surname Julius.
Yes, they
And
are
so it creates
people.
a
Exactly.
certain
and
confusion.
there's Samuel Julius as well.
Yeah.
So I need to sort of,
You know,
and a
because
Mr. and Mrs. Julius.
yes, I kind of just personal bias. Nothing against Juliuses. Absolutely nothing against
the
them.
Juliuses
But
can
I
meet me
feel
outside.
I Junior.
Joking.
Anyway,
Sorry.
but I do feel that my surname is nice.
Wow. I mean,
Anyway,
at least mine was a joke. That
No,
is-
but what I mean
yeah.
is just, I just think, so for me, besides the fact that you're giving me family that I didn't necessarily
Ask for.
ask for, I like my surname and I don't want it to be messed up. In the same way that my name in certain areas of this country, it is not pronounced as lovely as people.
Menta.
Thank you, Junior.
Samantha. I think
Yes,
that's
so
what
in
she's
certain
referring to.
areas of the country, it is not pronounced as my mother named me,
Mm.
which is Samantha.
Okay.
You know? And so I do have a little bit of a tough time
Mm.
when people don't say it as it was given. But this is a personal thing.
I think it's always personal when someone gets your name wrong. though.
Yeah,
I,
sure.
I spoke to a girl once, no? That I had met on an online platform. And I was like, interested in getting to know this girl. And then she, on a voice note, she said my name. And she said, Samuel. And I was like, yep, that's it. There goes all the interest. You seem like a really nice friend.
You
that
see,
was
it's
funny.
Was her
important.
name good?
It's
Nah,
important.
no, it's good. Might as well have been. No, but I hope she's doing well, shame.
Shame.
Yeah. Also, Samantha can't pronounce, she can't say Skalkburger. You know that. So if your surname was Burger, she wouldn't. Samantha, say Skalkburger for us, please,
No,
man.
listen, I'm not going to pronounce it for you.
Haven't
but
you
what
done
I'm
this in
going
a
to
previous
say,
podcast?
I
Did
feel
I?
like he did.
Sorry, man.
Possible.
My thing is with the close proximity of the L and the R. I struggle with that little thing. So it's not
The
got
L
no.
and the R.
Yes.
Hold on.
So
They're
like
far
Is it in
apart.
two
I know,
different
yeah,
names?
I know.
no,
Okay.
no, I'm saying like red lorry, yellow lorry. That I have to say
Red
that slowly
lorry, yeah,
because the moment I say it any faster than that,
Yeah.
it's a big mess up.
Red lorry,
So-
yellow lorry.
So with Skulk, I need to say Skulk's name on its own,
Okay.
and then Burger.
Okay.
Is-
Now say it together quick.
No,
Okay.
let's move on.
Otherwise, you could have a lead lolly.
A lead
Toxic confectionery.
Lovely.
Nice. Speaking of confectionaries,
Yes.
I went to a party recently, no? This actually has nothing to do with confectionaries. I
Lovely.
just wanted to tell you about this party I went to
Nice.
recently. And so, it's at UCT, but it's like there's a whole bunch of like Americans there as well.
Was this
which-
for your scholarship thing, whatever
No,
you're doing?
it's affiliated to someone
Okay.
that a good friend of mine from that program. But I was there, and I realized that. So I don't drink.
You realized
But-
you don't drink just that day.
But I was like, I understand why, especially at parties, people drink. Because it's a form of social lubrication.
Indeed.
I never realized how cringe encounters at parties sometimes are.
Yes.
There was this girl came up and we weren't sure whether to give her a handshake or a hug. And then we were like, oh, I remember your name and whatever. And then there was another hug. And then I was like, it's not even just I can blame other people. I'm also awkward and cringe at parties. But then I looked at the interactions happening around me, and most of them are. Even on the dance floor, like, nobody really knows what they're doing. Like, there are people who can dance, and you can tell that they can dance. But most of us are just trying to move our bodies. And then, I don't know if it's because I overthink things, or because I know I can't dance, or know that I'm not great at dancing. I could probably learn some choreography, but don't hold me to that. But, like, you sort of like forcing your body to like move, man. And then I realized, like, you know how on The Sims, I don't know if you've played The Sims before,
No.
but you can tell your brat to dance, man. And how that brat dances on the game is exactly how
mimic
I
that,
dance in
'cause
real
that's your
life.
reference.
Because it's
Lovely.
like moving your arms in this position, and like I just realized I genuinely have no idea what I'm doing. But a lot of that is because I am aware that I have no idea what I'm doing. And so I think the alcohol helps with people not being, your inhibitions are lowered. So you're not thinking so, you're not being so self-conscious. And so you can just move and vibe, you know? And so I understood, and then someone threw up on my arm.
Lovely. Beautiful.
And so what happened was I decided I want to take a break from the dance floor.
Oh, not because they were dancing so violently.
Nah,
That
I
they
did look
had
at
a roller
that
coaster
happened. This is like some James Bond person that threw up on my arm because
Wow.
I had no idea in the moment.
Okay.
I went outside to take a break, get some fresh air, and I'm like, you know, when you feel like your arm is wet, man. I'm like, yo. Nah, like it felt cold, man. It felt like I could feel the wind against it. And then I looked down. I'm like, hey, why is it like more? Like I was wearing a suit at the time.
Yeah.
I was wearing a suit, and there's like marks on my suit, like dark patches, man. I'm like, what is this, man? I see stukkies guava. There's like pieces of guava on my
It
arm,
was
man.
carrot.
Nah,
For some reason, there's always carrots.
I could see guava eating. There were guava
Wasn't it
seeds
dark?
on my arms. And I'm like, my bro, how did this guava get on my arm, man? But now I'm like, okay, at least I can recognize that it's guava. Maybe someone spilled their drink on me.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Because there are
okay,
little
someone
bits
spilled
of
some alcohol on
guava
me.
in the drinks.
Yeah, maybe that was like some sort of punch where guava was involved.
Right.
This is me being optimistic.
Yes.
Now I'm slightly annoyed that someone spilled their drink on me, but it
Understandably.
is what it is. Until I take a whiff at my arm. Are you mad? It smelled fruit, my bro. And look here, alcohol doesn't smell amazing to me, no? But I know the difference between alcohol and mok.
Yeah.
And mok, for those international listeners, is vomit. But it sounds so much better when you say mok. Like it's like, yo.
Because it describes the ugly part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo, I was
not
so
the nice part of vomit,
disgusted,
the ugly
man.
half.
Somebody's insides were on my arm. Do you know how gross that is? And like, this was on the dance floor because I don't remember being anywhere else. Why are you throwing up on the... If you know you're feeling a bit queasy, a little bit like... Maybe don't go when they play... Give
Dancing
me
Queen.
everything tonight. Don't give me that. Do you know what I mean? Don't give me everything. Maybe keep your
Keep all
vomit
of
to
it.
yourself. Yeah,
Yes.
actually, don't give me
Don't
anything.
give me any
Don't-
of that, please.
Don't give
No,
me
no, no.
anything. And then I also just thought I'm someone that enjoys conversation too much to be an effective dancer. And I knew this because I went up to the dance floor where two of my friends were already. You know, they're ready to dance. And I immediately thought of a joke that I wanted to tell them. Man. Now you
Oh.
must understand, we're next to where the DJ is standing. The music is clopping, man. It's like, doof, doof, doof. I'm there like, did you hear about... And then when because I tried telling the joke and they were like, and they're like standing next to me. Like standing
Yeah.
next to
Lovely.
me and saying,
Yes.
And then I was like, you know what? People don't come here to talk.
Yes.
People come here to dance.
Yes.
Let me keep quiet and dance.
Good thing you
And so I
weren't
did, and it
holding
was fun.
interviews for your podcast.
Yeah, but you know, like I realized that as cool as dance is, it's not my preferred mode of expression. I'm very stiff with my body, but I will have a conversation with you.
I'm sure there's a form of dance or movement that would allow you some form of expression. I don't know
Cricket.
what it is.
Cricket.
No, I mean in terms of dance, you know.
Oh,
something-
okay. Yeah, I
some
mean,
part-
I can do the Nelson Mandela.
Oh,
For those of you who don't know what the Nelson
okay.
Mandela is,
So then,
it's-
when you go to a party, that's got to be the party music.
although
that's all.
I don't know if people are playing Asimbonanga at parties that often.
Well, go to the party where that's like.
I was going to say, I'm sure there
DJ's
are
choice.
parties
But don't
with
you
that.
think it's concerning that my template for a good dance move is an 85-year-old man who spent 27 years isolated in
Absolutely
prison?
not. He's a role model in every way.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going
Being
to
like
comment on.
Madiba.
I don't remember it now.
What's your dance move?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, there's no one specific dance move, but
do
he can
do
dance.
you feel as though growing up Seventh Day Adventists kind of like the culture that we were in kind of inhibited your dancing capabilities?
Sure, but I don't
And
think
also
that
the
is...
exploration of it, because a lot of dance, a lot of the dance out there is used for very different purpose.
Yeah.
So see, I do think movement is necessary. And sometimes
And that movement is not encouraged.
yeah,
It's very... The dancing that usually happens is very visually, graphically, you know, might
Promiscuous.
be questionable.
Okay.
At least
Is
in
it-
our household.
Yeah.
All of
oh,
that is
well,
very...
in our
Well,
household,
look,
movement
everything
is
is
questionable.
questionable.
for many people, but
Yeah.
also because the vast majority of people's understanding of what dancing is
Yeah.
just a certain section of dancing.
Okay.
I mean, I've been to a few physical performances as a professional massage therapist, and then also as a spectator appreciating the arts.
Yeah.
And there's so much more that's not sort of
That's not that.
graphic
than
or
what we see
or
there.
sexualized in any way. And
In
it would
any
take
way.
it would take serious commitment to imagine that those movements
Yes.
are intended for
Yes.
that purpose,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So watching that, it's a very beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also there are people watching that have absolutely the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of understanding of dance and where dance fits in and human movement and stuff like that. And so they would watch it and see something almost completely
Yeah.
different.
Like,
And so
yeah.
listening to them explain what they saw is very it's a revelation.
Yeah.
Especially
No,
when
but
they're
like
from
most
outside of
art
your
forms-
culture.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like when Europeans come here
Yeah.
and they see African dance,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Yeah.
a very different.
Yeah, and most like most art forms, dance is
Viewpoint.
interpretive and subjective, and so, like for example, when Samantha, were you at when we did Shakespeare Festival at the
Yes.
Baxter?
Yep.
There was a girl who was dancing in a traditional Xhosa
think-
manner.
I think that we also spoke about that on a podcast previously.
Her boobs came out,
Nice. Yes.
and a lot
And
of people
to
were
her-
horrified.
Yes, but it was very intentional.
Yeah,
Very
and she didn't
intentional.
mean look at my boobs
Yeah.
and sexualize them.
It was just
It
what
was
is
just
done in
part
their
of-
culture.
yeah. And that's okay. And there's something beautiful about it. But I didn't hang around to find out. I was
Lovely.
looking elsewhere. I
Beautiful.
felt a little bit uncomfortable. And one of the reasons why I didn't stay around to see the beauty of that performance was because Amani's busy. And that's a generalism for my life. I'm busy. I was talking to someone this morning actually about, they asked me if I'm on Team Hailey or Team Selena.
Oh, goodness.
There's some beef going on. Don't
Yes.
ask me to explain it. It's
Uh.
dumb.
These dumb.
But I just realized, like, and Samantha, sometimes I've seen you watch these, like, online celebrity news.
You know,
where-
because look, okay, so I did check out what this stupid was, okay? But because it's a headline
Yeah.
that I just open YouTube up and there's something I would open Twitter up and it's the same thing that's
Yeah.
recurring all the time.
Don't you
So
think
me,
it's sad?
it's very sad.
Oh.
But the curious me wants to know now, okay, why is this trending? I'm just not going to check it out. So I do check it
No,
out.
I understand
always
that.
check it out.
Yeah.
But not that I'm invested in it at all.
Yeah, you know,
but I watch it.
by all means, entertain your curiosity. My problem lies with these people that they make their living, or they even waste their time adding fuel to some celebrity beef, which
Indeed.
might not even be beef.
Yes.
Maybe they're just talking about eyebrows. But like, that's so. Do you not have stuff going on in your life? Do you know what I mean? And I know not everybody has stuff going on in their lives, but it's just sad to me that something that is a facet of somebody else's life that probably isn't even, they didn't even think about it, that you've taken this and now you're wrapped up in, oh, are you Team Hailey or Team Selena? And it goes back to, you know that girl that makes slime on YouTube? What's her name?
Karina something.
I know it's a young girl. She was like 13, 14, 15.
How must I know?
I don't know, but this was a couple of years ago. And I walked in on Samantha watching some celebrity news YouTube channel saying, oh, do you know that this girl has just come out of the closet? And it's like, this girl is like 13 or 14. What are you doing with your life? Why do you care about her sexuality? And this has nothing to do with her sexuality and everything to do with the fact that people care about, firstly, it's a minor, but secondly, it's also just another human being. Like, why should I know what this person's,
Yeah, maybe care is
orientations
not the
are?
word you want to use there. People are focused. People are paying attention. And I have
Why
no
should
idea
you involve yourself
who
in
Hailey
this?
is. I'm assuming that Selena is the Gomez chick
Yeah.
and not the lady who was the aide to my aunt in Joburg.
No, not that.
Oh.
Not that cultural icon.
Because in the last couple of weeks, I've been hearing the name Selena in my house
Okay.
often.
That's
And
more
they
personal than
referred-
I
yeah.
thought you were referring to Selena Quintanilla.
I have no
I
idea
I
who
thought that
is.
you were.
Late at night
That's why I said a
while
cultural icon, because I
October.
thought that you were referring to the same
No,
Selena.
Selena's
just
from
lost me.
Joburg, not from...
No, that's what I'm
El
saying.
Paso.
I'm now saying that I thought
Oh.
that we were on the same page
Okay.
as that. And
Yeah.
then when I realized that he wasn't talking about that, I was like, oh.
But I hope Auntie Selena is doing okay.
I hope so too.
Ah.
But how the sideshow
Yeah.
has become the main show.
Mm.
Lewis Hamilton is a fashion icon.
Yeah.
He's a racing driver by profession.
Mm.
But what he wears in between his private transport
Yeah.
and the paddock where he changes into his race suit,
Yeah.
people take pictures of that and have discussions about it.
Mm.
Actual discussions where they have a panel of guests talking about
That's
how many words are
ridiculous.
written upside down on his clothing. I have no issues
Yeah.
with how he's dressed.
Yeah.
But that's not a reference point. Or he's not. I don't see him as a reference point on how people should or should not dress.
Yeah.
And there are many other things,
Yeah,
and I think the red carpet is one of those areas where they look at what people are wearing to the Oscars, but the
Yeah.
Oscars is really just about that group of people that voted for a certain individual,
Yeah.
not because of what they were wearing on that night, but because of what they done on the screen,
Yeah.
and how the thing that's not the objective actually becomes.
Mm.
And there are people who build careers
Yeah.
and so lives and experiences
Mm.
based on the interpretation of other people's.
Sure. That's
Actions.
journalism
Well,
to a certain extent.
so yeah,
But there's good
I
journalism.
don't
and then
follow
there's
these
that.
things.
Yeah.
I
No,
look at
because-
it and I
because
think
you're
about
busy, right? You
well,
have
not
a
just
life.
busy. Look, there are other podcasts and things that
Yeah.
maybe I listen to,
Yeah.
but everything that I choose to digest
Yeah.
and just engage with, I put it to that there's like a what do I call it? But there's a metric.
Mm.
How's it going to change my life, and how's
Yeah.
it going to improve or make more efficient what I do?
I hear you.
And the color of clothing doesn't matter
Mm.
very much
Yeah.
to how it happens. There are certain colors I don't like to wear,
Okay.
and that's not because of any of those things, just because I don't think it fits.
Crip for life. Sorry. That's a joke. We are not affiliated to any gangs or
Yo.
yeah. Bloods can be my friends too.
Oh, my word.
Sorry,
Stop.
sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think also that's one of the reasons why this podcast episode is maybe longer than we've done it before. We haven't seen each other for a while. I was doing field work in Uppington. But life has been moving.
We should talk about that.
We should at some point.
Yeah, not today.
Not today. But I want to end off with I went scuba diving once. No,
Not in Uppington.
not enough. Yo, that would be something.
That would.
But I went scuba diving, and I'm thinking about this because earlier I was singing that song by John Denver, take me home country roads. And we met someone from West Virginia at the scuba diving. And then there's this whole procedure where, and you can go at Boulders Beach in Simonstown. Don't ask me how much it is. I didn't pay for it. My paramour, my partner, paid for it. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Not because you paid for the scuba diving experience, but nevertheless, they teach you how to put on your gear. And basically, it's like a big pants with a vest. And then there's still a other thing you put on over that. And so this is quiet because when you get into the water, you don't get cold, bruh. You just like lumming. And by the way, you can't drown in that because it constantly like brings you to the surface. Like, I'm just like, why haven't we been swimming in this stuff? Does it bring you to the surface
face up?
Nah, face
so you
down.
Can drown.
Okay, that's true. But like,
sorry.
But you can also float, man.
Focused.
And I'm like, why haven't we been doing this for years? But okay, availability and stuff, it's probably
yes,
yeah, not that easy to source. But nevertheless, there's this whole complicated process, and they tell us like, do your things, whatever you need to get done before you get into the suit, because once you get into it, it's very difficult to get off. It's even more difficult to get off once you've been submerged in the water, because it starts to stick. Yeah, so it sticks to your skin basically. Not sticks to your skin in like a bad way, but it's just very difficult to take off. Yeah, and so they said make sure you stay with your partner. So it was this couple from North Virginia and the two of us, and West Virginia. There's no such thing as North Virginia.
Right.
There might be North in Virginia, but nevertheless. So we get to the place, we do our scuba diving. It's amazing. There's like entire ecosystems underwater. It's like Tukai Forest, no? Or any forest, but underwater. And there's
that is really cool.
It's really cool. Like there's animals just like living, bruh. Like I knew this, but then when you see it, you're like, yo, we just see the water. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But these animals doing their thing. There was somebody with a squad of like a school of fish, and they were just like, you know, pulling up to the other brother's house and like, you know, interacting and whatnot. And you can see this in like high definition. It was amazing. And then the last hour of it, I didn't want to get out of the water because I knew to have this experience again, I would have to pay money. And it's so quiet, I don't want to get out. But I had a pee, man. And I don't know if I had gone before, but I know that this pee was building. And when you're in water, no, you want to pee more, man. But now we got to a point where the guy said like, okay, 15 minutes left, guys. I would have peed in the suit. I'll be completely frank with you. I would have peed in that suit. And if you're listening from the scuba diving company, don't ban me from coming. I'm also just a human being. But I would have peed in the suit, but the guy said... but I wasn't a human being at the time. The guy said 15 minutes left, so I thought, yo, if I pee now, no, this thing is just going to smell like pee when I get out to it. Then the people's going to know I peed in the suit. And my dignity is stronger than my will to pee, man. But it gets more and more urgent the more you leave it. Your body's like, bruh, we have to pee. We have to pee. I managed to make it to the end of the 15 minutes. I'm like, yo, that was such an amazing experience. But I don't want to really talk to people so much. I tell the people, okay, I'm going to go to the bathroom. There's a bathroom as you walk out. Now I realize when I get to the bathroom.
You in the suit.
Yeah. And the guy said, stick with your partner so that your partner can help you get out of the suit. Even putting it on is difficult because your head gets stuck in that thing. And if you feel claustrophobic, it can be a bad experience. I'm like, yo, I have no partner here, bruh. And now this random bruh comes into the toilet. I'm like, do I ask this man, this person who I don't know from above, so listen, can you just help me take off my shirt here in the toilet? You know what I mean? It's not something I was keen on doing. And I'm like, I can't call my partner now. I'm already in the toilet. And then, in a feat of sheer strength and desperation, I tugged and I pulled, and eventually, after like circling here, thinking, yo, am I going to give up now? Like with my head halfway stuck in the suit, I managed to like pull it off and just move it to the side, and I pee. I felt amazing to pee. But afterwards, I just thought, no, like, yes, it would have been easier without a partner. But if you really want to do something, if you really, really, really want to do something, and this doesn't always apply. There are cases where you can't get out of the suit and you might have to pee in the suit. But if you really want to do something, you'll be surprised how much strength you can gather. I didn't think this would turn into a motivational message. But when you need to pee, you will find ways to get out of the suit. And that's the message that I want to leave you guys with. So ask yourself, how badly do I need to pee?
Yo, lovely.
You know?
Beautiful.
And then get it done.
Cool. Thank you very much for
Yeah.
that
Get it done.
motivation.
And if you need me to speak at the local school or, at your auntie's 60th or just any motivational events, I will leave my details in the description of this
But it will
video.
be the 15 minutes before the break.
Yes, I'm sure none of them would want to be your girlfriend.
I will not be at the event, don't worry.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. Yeah, thank you Samantha and Edson. It was nice. We haven't done this in a
Yes.
while.
Thank you.
Lovely.
We
Thank
should do
you.
it more in future, God
Indeed.
willing.
Agreed.
Indeed.
Yeah. Have a great afternoon.
Have a lovely afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.